we were struck by a mysterious object that is rapidly approaching Earth. Some respected experts speculate that it could be an unusual space rock or even some natural phenomenon. The object is losing about 10 pounds of pure nickel every second. As the interstellar object, named Tri-Atlas, streaks through our solar system, it leaves behind a metallic trail that, according to our most accurate scientific data, should not exist in such a form. This discovery has astonished the astronomical community. A leading scientist from Harvard University suggests that we are dealing not just with a comet, but possibly with a piece of some technology. The strange chemical signature of the object and its unusual trajectory have opened up a whole universe of frightening and exciting new possibilities regarding who or what might be inside it. A new actor has emerged in the silent theater of space, and its performance has left scientists bewildered. On the 1st of July, 2025, a research team in Chile directed their telescopes to the sky and stumbled upon something remarkable. It was not just another cometary body from our vicinity, but something special. Its trajectory turned out to be unusual. It was a traveler from deep space, an interstellar object. This marked only the third discovery of its kind in human history. It was named Tri-Atlas, and at first, this sparked joy. A rare opportunity to study a piece of another star system right before our eyes. However, as Tri-Atlas drew closer, the joy turned into confusion, and for some, even concern. The closer we looked, the less sense it made. The real shock came when astronomers, using the Very Large Telescope, analyzed the light emanating from the coma of the object, the hazy cloud of gas and dust surrounding it. They expected to find ordinary materials, perhaps some common metals. Instead, they encountered something that should essentially be impossible. The object was losing approximately 10 pounds of nickel every second. While nickel itself is not unusual in space, it is typically found paired with iron, like cosmic brothers formed in the cores of dying stars. Meteorites that fall to Earth contain both metals. However, when scientists analyzed the data on Tri-Atlas, there was no iron at all. Its level was practically zero. Here, the story shifts from an interesting discovery to a profound mystery that could change the world. A leading astrophysicist from Harvard, known for his bold and sometimes controversial views, sounded the alarm. He noted that on Earth, separating nickel from iron is a complex industrial process that requires colossal amounts of energy and advanced technology. You would not encounter pure nickel in nature, let alone expect to see a comet spewing it into the vacuum of space. This was a troubling signal of cosmic proportions. Could nature create such a thing? The question hung in the air, opening up a world of possibilities. This was the first hint that Tri-Atlas was not just a messenger from another star. Perhaps it was a message in a bottle, crafted for a specific purpose and sent into the boundless cosmic ocean. For many people, this seems to be definitive proof of the existence of extraterrestrials. However, the scientific community, by its very nature, remains cautious. They require more data. When the James Webb Space Telescope directed its powerful lens at this object, it uncovered yet another detail in the puzzle that only deepened the mystery. The primary component of the comet turned out not to be water, as is the case with most known comets, but carbon dioxide. In fact, the ratio of carbon dioxide to water was 8 parts to 1, which is the highest ratio ever observed. For comparison, our comets typically have this ratio at around 4%. This comet was fundamentally different from anything that has emerged in our solar system. It had an unusual structure, distinct behavior, and emitted unknown metals. This was not just a comet. It was a true cosmic enigma, and its next move was even stranger. When an object approaches from the depths of space, you expect to see a simple trajectory, a long, smooth curve defined by the gravity of our sun, However, not everything is so straightforward. When astronomers began tracking 3 Ayatlas, they noticed something utterly eerie about its path. It was not merely passing by. It seemed to be on some kind of mission, executing a series of flybys with such precision that it appeared almost intentional. A Harvard astrophysicist, who was the first to raise the question about the anomaly with nickel, once again focused on the numbers and was astonished by what he discovered. He calculated the probability that any random object from another star system would fly so close to Venus, Mars, and Jupiter in a single pass. The probability turned out to be negligible, just 0.005 or 5%. For comparison, the chances of being struck by lightning multiple times in a lifetime are much higher. This was a statistical improbability of the highest order. Could this simply be a random coincidence? A cosmic event, 1 in a billion? Or is there something more behind it? Note that the trajectory of the object had yet another strange feature. Our solar system is mostly flat, like a spinning plate. All the planets move around the Sun in the same direction and on the same plane, while 3 Ayatlas approached at an angle of just 5 degrees, but it was moving in the opposite direction. This is called a retrograde orbit, and while it is not uncommon, it is still peculiar. If you wanted to create a probe that could get the best overview of our solar system in one go, you would choose exactly such a route. By moving against the current, it could capture relatively close images of several planets in a short amount of time. It resembles a vehicle slowly moving down a one-way street, but in the wrong direction, in order to better observe all the houses. Moreover, the maximum approach of the object to the Sun, when it would be the brightest and most active, was supposed to occur at the farthest edge of the solar system. Because of this circumstance, it was extremely difficult for us to obtain the best observation during its peak activity. It was as if it was trying to hide something, or perhaps it was just another strange coincidence. When you piece together all these anomalies, impossible metals, strange gases, statistically improbable trajectories, and retrograde motion across the planets, it becomes increasingly difficult to dismiss the feeling that this is not just a random rock. Everything begins to seem intentional, increasingly evasive of investigation. No one tells you that the concept of an interplanetary probe has long ceased to be purely fictional. Scientists are now forced to take it seriously. Alternative explanations for what these 3 Ayatlos are and what they are doing are, in some ways, even more insane than the planetary theories themselves. Discussions no longer revolve around whether strange events are occurring, but are focused on their causes. This is some unknown exotic form of astrophysics that we have yet to study. Or perhaps it is the calling card of a mind far older and more advanced than our own. And this is not the first time that mysterious visitors have left us with more questions than answers. They are not random. To grasp the full seriousness of the 3 Ayatlos mystery, one must return to the year 2017. It was then that, for the first time in history, an interstellar object was confirmed, a peculiar cigar-shaped anomaly named Oumuamua, which passed through our solar system. Oumuamua, which translates from Hawaiian as "scout from afar," was a true shock to the scientific community. It was moving too quickly to have originated from our solar system, and its shape did not resemble any known asteroid or comet. But the strangest thing about Oumuamua was its movement. As it moved away from the Sun, it accelerated. This acceleration occurred under the influence of a mysterious force that we could not explain. Comets can accelerate because, when sunlight heats them, they release jets of gas, acting like tiny rocket engines. However, in the case of Oumuamua, there was no tail, no coma, and no gas emissions observed. So what was propelling it? At that time, Professor Avi Loeb from Harvard found himself in the spotlight. He proposed a radical hypothesis. What if Oumuamua was not a rock at all? What if it was an artificial object, part of the technology of some other planet? In particular, he suggested that it could be a solar sail, a very thin sheet of material designed to be propelled by the pressure of sunlight itself. This was a shocking statement that sparked both admiration and strong skepticism within the scientific community. For many it seemed too bold, but the data was undoubtedly strange, and no one had a perfect natural explanation. After all, the object known as Oumuamua flew beyond the reach of our telescopes, leaving its mystery unsolved. Now we fast forward to today, and suddenly 3 more Oumuamuas appear. This is the ghost of Oumuamua, returned in another form. Once again, we are confronted with an interstellar object whose properties are difficult to comprehend. One such object could be a coincidence, but 2 begins to look like a pattern. You see, the universe is unimaginably vast. The space between stars is an ocean of nearly perfect emptiness. The fact that 2 such unusual and unique objects have visited our solar system in less than 10 years seems statistically incredible. Many are trying to piece the facts together. Could these objects be related? Do they originate from a single source? One of them could be a scout, while the other is something else entirely. However, no one tells you that even if their origin is natural, their appearance implies that our galaxy may be filled with far more of these strange objects than we could ever imagine. This forces us to reconsider our notions of the structure of other star systems. But if they are of artificial origin, the implications are simply staggering. This would mean that someone or something is sending probes into our little corner of the Milky Way. The question is no longer what these objects are, but what force created them. A cosmic forge or an alien factory. So we are faced with a visitor from the stars that defies all the rules we know. On one hand, we have a series of anomalies that seem to indicate artificial origin. Pure nickel, strange trajectories, unusual gases. This resembles traces left by an intelligence with a high level of development. The idea of a message in a bottle is very appealing. Perhaps another civilization encoded information in the very structure of the 300th atlas, using the ratio of elements as a language, knowing that this would be a puzzle that any spacefaring society would be forced to solve. This message is designed to last for centuries, but no one tells you that even theories about extraterrestrial technologies have their wild aspects. What if this is not a message, but something far more mundane or even more incredible? Some suggest that it could be a piece of space debris, a discarded fuel tank from a much larger interstellar ship, or a fragment of a destroyed alien megastructure. This explains the presence of strange industrial-grade metals. But what if this is not debris? What if this is building material? The theory of a self-replicating probe suggests that the machine enters a star system, uses resources from asteroids to create copies of itself, and then sends those copies to other stars. Perhaps nickel and strange gases are simply the raw components for this cosmic replication. This brings forth an even deeper idea. What if this is not just a probe, an autonomous and biological laboratory designed for the spread of life? The incredibly high concentration of carbon dioxide in the object, so different from our understanding of comets, could be part of a terraforming process or the emergence of life, aimed at delivering the building blocks of life to promising worlds. This would not be a message for us, but a delivery for our entire planet. However, not everything is as it seems at first glance, and science requires us to carefully investigate every natural possibility. For now, the answer remains preliminary. It is possible that the most catastrophic events in the universe, such as a kilonova, the collision of 2 neutron stars that produces heavy elements and scatters them throughout the galaxy, were needed for this. There is a chance that the object known as Tri-I Atlas is a frozen remnant of one of the ancient cosmic collisions, or fragments resulting from an asymmetric supernova, a one-sided stellar explosion that theoretically could release nickel and iron. Yet even if these catastrophic events created this object, What are the odds that part of this debris chose the perfect route to cross our solar system? This leads us to a more troubling theory. What if the purpose of this object is simply to attract attention, a cosmic trap or experiment? What if its strange properties and unusual trajectory are designed to pique our interest and test whether anyone is home? If we are smart enough to notice, then perhaps this is not just an observation of us, but a kind of test to see how we will react. When viewed from this perspective, the explanation involving extraterrestrials begins to seem less insane. Did all of this happen overnight? We may be missing some important detail. Perhaps the simplest explanation, however strange it may seem, is the best one. This is the essence of a debate that will continue for many years to come. So, is Tri-Eye Atlas merely a cosmic coincidence? Or is it an intentional calling card from a mind that surpasses our own? What do you think lies in the darkness between the stars? Share your thoughts, and do not forget to express your opinion on cosmic mysteries.